What's up guys, thank you for joining me once again. So if this is your first time coming to this channel, my name is Chikamoya and I like to talk about all things Finland. I moved here a couple years ago and it's been quite a long time trying to adjust to everything. So today I'm going to be talking about the music industry in Finland. Does it suck or is it awesome? The reason why talking about music in general is important to me is because I'm a musician. If you didn't know that, now you do. And one of the biggest things for me when I moved here was, what is the music industry like here? I thought the first thing we can talk about are live shows. I love going out to a pub or to a bar and there's an awesome musician playing there. And the first thing that I found out when I moved here was the fact that there aren't so many live shows, like in terms of a lot of pub musicians. Let me know if you think I'm tripping here, but like in most other places I've been, like every other night in some pub or in some bar, I'm not talking about those bigger shows, I'm talking about smaller ones, there's usually a band or a singer-songwriter performing. There's usually tons of open mics and that sort of vibe. I've seen some of those things to varying degrees, and I'm not just talking about like cover artists. I'm talking about like actual singer-songwriters playing their own music. Maybe it's just a cultural thing or the vibe here, but I haven't really noticed it, and I can feel that I miss that a lot. And this is a disclaimer, I'm talking about all this stuff from pre-pandemic vibes. So who knows how the industry will change after all of this, but just know that I'm talking about before the world kind of imploded. Live music just seems to be lacking. I have gone to some shows and stuff here. I've played in quite a few of them actually. Something that I've noticed about being here, a big difference, is the audience. The Finnish audience is different. I think that's the best way I can explain it. Here's a clip of me performing at a festival in South Africa. I need some good loving. I need some good loving. I need some good loving. One more time. I need some good loving. Pretty crazy, right? Here's another one. People love to sing loudly and really get involved, to dance or all that kind of stuff. The Finnish audience is a little reserved. I think that's the best way I can explain it. So it doesn't mean that your music is bad if people just sit down and clap. I don't know, I just find it hilarious when someone is playing something amazing. It can even be a massive concert and everyone would be like and I'm not making fun of that. It's just kind of most other places there's usually just lots of jiving, and yes, it does get to that point at times, but after quite a lot of alcohol has been consumed. I'm not quite sure what it is, if it's a cultural thing, if people are just shy of the way they move when they're dancing. Festivals are a staple in almost every country. You know, you go to a festival, have a freaking amazing time, listening to different sorts of artists and just meet a bunch of people. But I gotta say, I haven't been to many festivals here in Finland. In fact, I've only been to one, and it's called the Tikkurila Festival. Okay, I don't want to make this video sound like it's completely negative. It's just all from my perspective how I view some of these things. Now, that festival for me was a terrible festival. I didn't really enjoy it all that much. I felt like the whole vibe was just, it didn't feel like a festival. Like, yes, there was a lot of people standing around watching artists perform, but it didn't have that carefree, exciting vibe that a festival usually has, that sense of like losing yourself. And I know a few people have told me that the Tikkurila Festival is the last one I should even try and compare to what festivals are like here. I know there's like Ruis Rock or something. Apparently that's quite insane. What is up with this whole thing in Finland where the same artists perform everywhere all the time? I don't understand it. Do these artists have like mega fans, or is it just like same artist, same vibe? I was a little bit disappointed when I went to the festival because there was a few artists there that I'd seen playing guitar and they sounded great, and I was like, okay, cool, I'll go check them out. But then when I went to watch them, they just had a DJ and dancers, and they sang, and then that was it. And everyone is like, cool, and done. And then the next artist comes and it's the exact same thing. I was losing my mind. And it's kind of crazy because Finland actually has some real talent, some real upcoming talent, but you just don't ever get any opportunity to see them very much. I don't know what that's about. And I think the same thing goes with radio stations here. It just seems like the same artists are being played, the same sort of music. There isn't so much diversity in sounds. You can make quite a good living being a local celebrity or musician here in Finland, so all power to you. But in terms of raising up international artists, yeah, it's not. Finland is pretty behind. I mean, they've got the talent. They've got people who are coming up. They've got like someone like Elma, who's pretty big worldwide actually. So there's that, and there's a guy called Jesse Markin or something. Jesse Markin, and he seems to be on the rise, which is fantastic. And I personally hope that in time Finland starts putting more money into sending their artists international, or artists who want to go international, because that's how Finland is going to get on the map. Because as of right now, except for several small instances, Finland's not really on the map musically. Having said all that, I've got massive respect for some of the artists here who have been working really hard doing their thing, and all my respect to them. There's actually a song I tried to learn how to play. Inta jumitan saatan toimii, sul täytyy olla supervoimia. Mut teräs näin pysy käsessä, kun ajan nostat ulos, kun olen vajo. En taju miten saatan toimii. That song was actually written by a musician here called Elastinen, I think. And big respect to the dude, whether you like his music or not. The fact is, I saw something from him that I was really blown away. I was performing on a ship going from Helsinki to Sweden and back, and it was during the time when they were starting to severely cut down the amount of people that go on the ship. These ships had already pre-booked some of these big Finnish celebrities or singers, and I had the privilege of watching these artists perform once every night. And I remember there's this one guy, this one kid who had a big song hit or whatever, and I saw him perform in a way that showed that he didn't respect such a small audience. You know, he looked really high, and he didn't look at the audience, and he performed for like 15 minutes, and I remember I was just like, oh my word, what the heck. And this guy Elastinen, when it was his turn to perform his night, he performed in a way that showed that he's a professional, and he performed in a way that made it seem as if there was 100,000 people there when there was like little over 100. And it was amazing, and I've got so much respect for the dude for doing that. I think that's awesome. But I gotta say, hearing Finnish music or music in Finnish, it's a bit jarring at first. So I don't necessarily listen to a lot of Finnish music. I think Finnish hip-hop is on its own level. I think it's really doing well. The language seems to be perfect for rap. You could literally say anything in Finnish, and if you say it to a beat, it would sound like a rap song. Yksi, kaksi, kolme, neljä, viisi, kuusi. My hope is that in time, the music industry starts opening up for upcoming artists, you know, whether they want to go international or they just want to stay in Finland. I feel like the music industry here is really robbing you guys, if you're in Finland, of amazing talent out there. And it just boggles my mind that the music industry here just wants to use the same old artists over and over, and people will go watch them over and over, and these new people that are rising up are just kind of not given enough opportunity. At least that's the way I view it. The music industry in Finland, in the end, I think it needs a lot of work. It needs a different set of eyes overseeing it, in my perspective. Right now, if you're a musician, it can feel like it's not the greatest place to be. But there's always opportunities, and if you've got the will, then you'll find the way regardless. And if you're enjoying this content, please leave me a like. I appreciate it, and subscribe while you're at it. That would be awesome too. But apart from that, have a fantastic day, evening, or wherever you are. Cheers for now. Bye.